Hello, good evening, and welcome to the another edition of the Football Exponential Show. My name is Kingsley. I'll be your host today, and on the other side of this session is my very good friend Frank. How are you doing today?
Hi Kingsley, how you doing? I'm doing quite well. It's been a busy day, but we're back to talk about some European football, not
Perfect.
just Premier League.
And actually, if there is one thing we're staying away this on this edition is the Premier League. There will be no
No,
Premier League.
no Premier
No
League
Premier
talk.
League conversation in today's episode. So let me give you a snippet into what we'll be unpacking today. So we'll be unpacking all the juicy actions that happened in La Liga this week. It was the game week 10 in La Liga, and there were the powerhouses against some of what we would call the really difficult sides to go to or to play against. And then also we're looking at the big three right now in Spain and the preparation for the Champions League and how it will affect some of the big games that will be coming based on what we see on the calendar. So we'll be covering Barcelona features in the next couple of games. We're covering what we think of their performance in against Sevilla, and also we'll be talking about Real Madrid and their trip to Celta Vigo and how they fared in the last years. And also we'll be looking at what Atletico Madrid have been doing this season, whether or not they are still in the title race for La Liga and how far away they are. And of course, we'll
Okay.
be looking at the potential opponents of especially Barcelona and Real Madrid. It looks like we're going to have some mouth-watering Bundesliga versus La Liga challenge in the Champions League this week. So we'll get it right on the way. We'll start with our favorite team in white and red, Atletico Madrid. What did you think about that game?
Atletico Madrid, they go just to keep our they got a 3-1 home win against Leganes, and Alexander Solot with a couple goals and Griezmann with the other goal. I feel this is probably one of Atletico Madrid's more. It's probably the game they've dominated the most so far in the league. So far in the league, where they from start to finish they were just in control, creating chances, free flowing, a lot of crosses into the box to service the big man up top, and Griezmann between the lines, linking up play between between Correa, Griezmann, and Solot with the wing backs getting involved in attacking play, controlling the ball as well. So it's a very Kosovo, I think, and to my out of this is the lineup I would have wanted to see with Atletico Madrid for a long time. Get Griezmann more in central areas and go with two attacking options ahead of him, not just a striker and Griezmann. Then you get three central midfielders because it gives you more creativity, more freedom, and more attacking options. But I feel like this should be that blueprint going forward. Defensively, they got lucky with the bad injury to their new centre back, Robert Lenormand, who's I think he's got this freak injury or freak medical condition where it seems he's going to be out for a long time, and good luck to him on that front. But I still feel that defensive they still a bit of question marks. Axel Witsel playing as a centre back is Axel Witsel Longley that's not that's a makeshift defensive partnership. But on this occasion, it was enough to get over the line. And this is 10 games into the season. That's 5 wins and 5 draws. That the only along their as well as their neighbors Real Madrid. They're the only two unbeaten sides in the Spanish league. So I think they're going in the right direction. In my opinion, I just feel they need to get back into back into the groove in the Champions League this week because they've not exactly started the best so far, especially coming off a bad result on match day two against a
Against
4-0 thrashing against Benfica. They need to put in some good performances or good performance and get back to winning ways in the Champions League. But so far, I like what I saw for Atletico Madrid on the weekend, and I'm happy
Le-
for. I don't know a striker that I know I've been very harsh on and criticized a lot. It was good to see him scoring goals again. So I'm happy to see that.
Yeah, no,
What was your
it was very interesting to see. Although I do not agree with you, like they didn't have the control of the game all through. It was quite a
yeah?
nervy start for them. Yeah, they were 1-0 down. They had to show character, played their way back
Yeah,
into the
but
game.
I know, but if you look at if you go through the statistics, for Atletico Madrid having an expected goal XG of 4.5. That's a lot for Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
24 shots, 9 on target against the two 5 shots, 2 on target for Leganés. 7 big chances created for Atletico Madrid, 4 big chances missed. So they were very there was a lot of attacking momentum they had
No,
in that
a
game.
hundred
But
percent. I
yeah,
agree. I agree that there was a lot of
so I
attack
just
from them, but it's just the start wasn't like they didn't
yeah
hit the ground running from the
yeah
sound of the whistle. But they grew into the game. They dominated the game. They took
yeah
charge going forward, and it was very impressive from Salah. And I think he did miss a lot of chances as well. Could have easily bagged the hat trick.
exactly he could
Could have
have
easily bagged the hat trick in a game against Leganese. But again, this is where you start to ask questions. Is this a team that is flattered to the seat in the sense that, yes, it's true, it's 10 games unbeaten. It's a long run if you think about it from a La Liga point of view. But you see, that is half as much points dropped as half as much points
exactly
gained.
that's
So because
to me
with too many draws, so getting 5 draws in 10 games, that means out of those 5 draws, obviously you took 1 point.
I just because I'm just looking at the table and just one stat that just popped out to me is Atletico Madrid have considered the fewest amount of goals in La Liga
In
this
La
season.
Liga. Yeah,
They've only
they
considered they've only considered 6, but as always, their biggest issue, and I believe you can see that with the draws, the amount of draws they've had, 5 draws, is they don't score enough goals. In fact, they in the top 7, in the top 6, they've scored the second least amount of goals, 16 league goals this season.
yeah.
Only so it's there's still work to be done to get that Alvarez, Solot, Griezmann, and Correa. Those 4, if you can get 3 of them on the pitch at the same time, get them fired. I think you can
Yeah,
see some good
stand a
things.
very good chance. I agree with
Yeah.
you. I agree
Okay.
with you. But yeah, it was another 3 point in the bag, like you would always say, and
Yeah.
that puts them in the prime position to have a win-win situation of regardless the results from the big game in a classical
Exactly.
weekend.
Where
So they've
they're
got the
trying.
job done, and hopefully they can also keep the job. I think they should be playing Real Sociedad next game. I don't remember vividly, but so they've got jobs on their hands to do, especially while the classic goes on. Um, but yeah, so moving on to their neighbors in white, Real Madrid had a tough trip to Celta Vigo. I remember in the edition we covered, the episode we covered, the preview game, you were
Yeah.
quite confident, a little bit
Yeah.
arrogant, and you're
I,
like, oh, Kylian Mbappe's
uh,
got the rest, Vinicius has got the rest. They're going to come in there and they're going to cook. So tell me, how much
too,
cooking did you see on Saturday?
they're too much winners though, so I wasn't entirely wrong. Like so, I feel like I'll go straight to Vinicius's goal. I feel that's the moment we've been waiting for with Vinicius and Real Madrid since he's been there. He hasn't. He's scored some penalties. He's scored some
I
good goals,
think
but we've
Vinicius or Mbappe.
sorry Mbappe. Sorry
Okay,
Mbappe.
all right, all
I
right.
feel like we've been waiting for this moment where he scores or where he provides or he shows he has that moment of where you go, wow, this is it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
This is that moment we've been waiting for. And I felt that first goal that was proper. That was back to Mbappe of a few years ago when he was still, I feel a bit at the top of his game, not the player he's become now, where he's trying to find his way on the pitch and get where he played to his best strength, where he got the ball, few touches, opened up the space, then slapped it into the top corner. That was an absolutely good finish. But again, with Real Madrid, there's still there's still a lot of questions I have in this team in terms of the overall setup with the team. And I know they ultimately got the result, but I feel like in majority of Madrid's games in the league and in the Champions League, I know there's a lot has been made of a lot has been made about Vinicius, Jude, Bellingham, Mbappe, all the attacking talent, Modric, Tchouameni, Camavinga, and Valverde and whatnot. But I feel at this moment in time, right now, their best player, the player they can't do without for any long spell out of that team, it's Courtois. Because again, Courtois showed why he's probably one of the, or if not the best goalkeepers currently in Europe, where he consistently, and this is not just a game here where you expect a goalkeeper to make a save because that's how the games are. But Courtois continuously makes big match winning saves at at least on this occasion, for like very early on within the first 10 minutes, there was a striker was put through on goal. How that happened, I don't know, because I don't know what broke down in Madrid's shape and how they allowed that striker get through on goal. But it happened, and he gets the chance 1v1 on Courtois. Well, Courtois pulled off a fantastic save, and he did it again, coming through for Madrid. And he sets them, he gives them that platform for the better players to go on the pitch and express themselves. They looked a bit rusty, and I felt they needed more to come off the bench again to stabilize the team, give them more control, get the passing rhythm going. Because I still feel this is just not. They're getting to their credit, they're getting the wins, they're racking up the points. Some attacking players are having good moments in games, but it's just not consistently good enough for a team that has so much talent. And I feel my fear for them is at some point, if it doesn't improve, they might get found out at some point because Courtois can't keep making these saves, or Courtois can't keep performing at this level he's performing, and you can't keep relying on the shit. I know it's football, you expect the talent to win, but at some point you need that structure to platform these attacking players to exceed, to perform better. And it just looks a bit off the cuff. Everything's just off the cuff. A lot of players they're playing a bit, they're playing their own games they're playing their own games on the pitch to get the points for Madrid, doing their own individual action. So I seem to see more of a collective effort from everyone on the team. The control, the possession, the control, the dominating of the game, creating of chances, defending transitions. Because right now it's still a bit worrying, in my opinion. And with the big game coming on the weekend, I'm starting to get worried for Real Madrid because if Barcelona gets a W on the weekend, that could be, I don't know, that could be trouble for Real Madrid. But you know what? Shout out Vinicius, he got a fantastic match winning goal. Mbappe got a really good goal. Jude Bellingham he hasn't scored in the league this season yet. Well,
Mm.
you no, I know it's easy. I know it's easy to talk about his goal scoring, but I still feel in games he's performing well in those games, and it's
No,
just a matter of time for the goals to come.
this is the part of rebellion that I don't want to hear. Because last season I kept saying to everybody who cared to listen that Jude is going down the dangerous path. And what do I mean by that? It's
Yeah.
going to be always troubling if, as a midfielder, people start to attribute the success in your game to goals, because we all know from watching football for too long that it's not going to be sustainable.
It's not.
I
Yeah,
remember
exactly.
I
Yeah.
remember the conversation we were having around this time last season when Jude was bailing Real Madrid out over and over again, and I've repeated it too many times on this platform here that Real Madrid's sicknesses are not today. They just managed to get by it from last season. From last season, they've not always won pretty. They've not always played confident, but they've always gotten the win. I
Yeah.
felt like there were games when, if you think about it or you look back last week, you see last season, you see that Real Madrid
They
shouldn't have
were
gotten
they
away
were
with those
this
3 points.
you know
They were
this
this close.
close
Uh,
to defeat. Yeah.
Exactly, and then there was one too many times if it was not a Bellingham 90 minutes goal or something late happening at the end of the game, and they just about scrapped the win. And it's just about time, if that is not fully resolved, for these weaknesses to be exposed. And also for Jude's case, it's about time for us to look through things and realize that he can't be scoring goals. That is not his primary responsibility. Those goals would come, and it's okay if Jude ends the season with 10 goals.
Yeah.
It's in
But
fact it shouldn't be that, oh, his form has dropped or his quality has reduced for that, but because he had gone in there, put in an appetite in fans' lips, and put himself up there in contention for a Ballon d'Or that I don't believe he should be in that conversation, because Ballon d'Or should be for a full season, not a half season. Half season last season, Jude Bellingham was easily that player, but come January, February, up until now, Jude
Didn't
Bellingham has
he,
not been the player that he was last season.
didn't,
Yeah, like towards
didn't
the end
he,
of the year.
didn't he score, didn't he have a fantastic performance against Barcelona in the Clasico at
He
the second part of last season?
and that is the problem right there. Jude didn't have a fantastic performance against Barcelona. Jude scored an important goal against
Yeah, and I know,
Barcelona.
yeah,
Those are two different things. Before that goal came in, Jude wasn't the guy of that pitch. Jude was not influential in
okay,
that game. And
oh,
it's okay because what is going on right now is the law of diminishing return that is catching up with Jude. Jude, a lot of people have reached the high curve with Jude because Jude started becoming that clutch player, getting you goals, and that is what you start to attribute his performance to. But in reality, his best games are not even games where he scores. Actually,
yeah. So
I think on a personal note, Jude is even playing better this season than he did last season. But those numbers are not showing.
yeah, I know, but also I think because last season when Jude made that big move to Real Madrid, the it wasn't his remit to come and be the de facto goal scorer in that team. It's just more he had just more it was just born out of necessity where they didn't really have that focal point as a number nine. So you played Jude Bellingham as that quote unquote man in the box that gets on the edge or gets on the end of crosses, gets on the end of chances and finishes because he's a very good one touch, two touch finisher in the box. But I feel right now he's doing a lot more of his actions right now compared to last season outside the box where he's trying to knit Madrid's defense, the midfield and the attack together, receiving the ball in half spaces, trying to get Vinicius Mbappe get going because so far they don't have that Tony Cruz that can get that pass from the midfield to the forward players consistently and maintain control. He's trying to do that aspect of the game, which, in my opinion, I feel he's doing it. He's doing it quite well. And I'm not really. I won't get hung up on Jude not scoring a goal. I believe it looked on was it Saturday like that's getting to him a little bit. Like there were a few times where he could have passed or made a better shot or better decision making, but he went for a goal. Just I feel he's trying to get that monkey off his back, so to say. I feel like his performances have been solid so far since he came back from injury. But I just feel this. I don't know if it's a situation where because I've said it for a long time. I just feel what Madrid just need to do. They need to just go back to basics. This whole experiment where you have Vinicius Mbappe trying to they take up that whole left side of the pitch where you have two of them. Then the right wing is very vacant because on Saturday Jude was more right side right side of the midfield or right side of the attack, and it looked okay, but it didn't look convincing. So I just feel is it a situation where if another coach or if Ancelotti could be more firm or more implement a more structural game with this team, where you put Vinicius. If it's Vinicius still wide, Mbappe goes to the right wing. Then you have Jude again as that sort of false nine number 10 player, where it's sort of like a diamond situation, or but depends on game situation. Those guys will go wide. Then Jude stays in the middle. But I just feel but there was one thing that disappointed me the most during that game, and I saw it more in the second half on the equalizing goal for Celta Vigo, and that's Mbappe's overall work ethic off the ball, which I feel you is not good enough. I know he scored a fantastic goal, but right now the way football is these days, you need every alpha player putting in. I'm not asking him to run the hardest or cover the most ground. But a lot of players right now, the best players are all working hard. We saw with Salah. We said we're not going to talk about Premier League, but we saw with Salah yesterday against Chelsea, the big game, covering for Trent several times because Trent was getting that number. You have to put in your fair share of defensive output to make the team work for the team. And I feel like that's an aspect where he needs to work on, and I don't know if it's something that I just got into the game because he's been um, allowed to grow into this superstar in PSG, where you do whatever you can at PSG. But if you're Real Madrid right now, you are the quote unquote star player. You're the new Galactico. you need to do more for this team, not just scoring goals. You need to lead the team on and off the ball. You need to take that responsibility. And I feel so far he hasn't gotten it yet. But there's still time. There's still learning curve for him, and we'll see. Especially with the big games coming, we'll see because like I always say, the big games are for the big players to turn up and perform. So I will reserve my judgment for this next couple of games and see how he performs. Not just the goal scoring or chance or shots, it's just the overall play. How does he help the team get over the line, get the points, get the wins, get the good performances? So that's something I'll be very interested to see how that plays out this coming week.
Yeah, speaking of big games, it doesn't get bigger than the repeat of the Champions League final just last season. We're having
Yeah,
Dortmund play against Real Madrid in Santiago Bernabeu. Um, and we are hoping to see another masterpiece of football and the reason why people should tune in and watch the UEFA Champions League. And this is one game that, yes, it's happening in the group stages, but it feels like it has the aura of a knockout football
yeah,
Champions League game all over it. Um, Currently on the top of the table is Borussia Dortmund. Real Madrid, just like Barcelona and Bayern Munich, they're galloping somewhere beneath the barrels of the
yeah.
middle of the table. You can argue that it's still too early for the table to have taken full form in terms of shapes and who's going to be there. But is this going to be this is going to be a testament football game for Real Madrid to go in there and say, you know what, we are the big boys and we're the big boys for a reason. Dortmund going to Bernabeu. What do you think about that game?
Yeah, like you said, it's a rematch of the Champions League final, and these two teams have a lot of history in the Champions League, going way back to the days of Lewandowski, Mourinho, and Ramos, where Lewandowski scored 4 goals in one of those knockout games. But I feel
Mm-hmm.
this is especially when they're coming off a loss on match day 2 against in France. I think they need to get back to winning ways in the Champions League, and I feel Dortmund could be a good opposition to welcome to the Bernabeu, where you get this. The the, the problem with Dortmund is you don't really know which
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 version of Dortmund will turn up?
exactly which like they say like they are the German Tottenham, where you don't know which version of this team will they show up in their as their best selves, or will they show up as an imitation of what they could be. So I'm still intrigued to see how they turn up. But I feel if Madrid will have Dortmund will give a lot of chances to just about any team they play on any day. So Madrid will get a fair share of chances. With some, unfortunately, I believe Dortmund will be missing that star winger Karim Adeyemi. I feel his pace in transitions would have been
Oh,
key
is
on
it
this.
out injured?
Yeah, I think he's out injured. I think his pace and recently found form in front of goal would have helped them on this occasion. But with the likes of say Sergio Girassi, who's a fantastic box striker who just needs 1 or 2 chances to bury and find his goal. Jamie Bidon, Jamie Gittins on the wing, a lot of pace. Julian Brandt, a lot of creativity and invention in midfield. They have a lot going for them, and especially with this, they're still finding their way with this new coach who's just been there for a few months, Nuri Sahin. But I still feel defensively they still against Madrid's pace, Madrid's creativity, Madrid's attacking brilliance or individual attacking brilliance. It could be a long, tough night for them. I don't see Madrid scoring a lot of goals, but I feel Madrid will get a good Champions League performance on this day. I feel they might just have that. It will definitely be a good game because I feel it will be box to box at pace at all out attack. Both sides trying to one up each other on the attack creativity. I think it's going to be a very good game. I I feel Madrid will get the 3 points over Dortmund on match day 3.
Oh, wow. I think this is going to be one of the bigger tests for Real Madrid, especially in Champions League football this season. And here's why I think so. I've seen Real Madrid try to put the offside trap and not get it down properly. I've seen that slow decision, whichever centre back pairing that they have. And like you mentioned, I agree with you 100%. That Contour has been the, you know, best player this season. But also, like, because I was just, going back to some of the La Liga games, Real Sociedad hitting the goalpost 3 times. They were a lot of chances for Celta Vigo to lead and bury the game. They were equally exposed against some of the teams that are willing to go forward, and Dortmund is one of those. Um, Dortmund is that team that I think would test them. I think Emre Can done a very good season as well. I think a lot of people are not speaking about that.
Yeah.
He's having a very fantastic season. I just got to know right now that Karim Adeyemi would be playing that game because that is another player that would test the flank for Real Madrid. Is going to test either ways, but like he's going to be sitting it out. But I don't see Real Madrid walking away with all 3 points in this game. I think it's going to be one of those where it will be a hard-fought victory if at all it happens, but it's going to be a draw. I
A
think it's going to
draw?
be a draw game. I think it's going to be a draw game. It's not going to be a goalless draw. I think,
No, so
I,
the
I,
big goals.
yeah, I think Dortmund will lead that game for a good amount of time. I think they will lead the game, but Real Madrid is going to come clutch and going to stop that 3 points from going away from Santiago Bernabeu. But I do expect players like Mbappe to shine through in that game. I expect Vinicius to have his moments in that game because that feels like the games. It just has the setup of the kind of games where pacey, fast forward
Especially
can go and
against,
exploit.
especially against Dortmund's backline. They
It's
don't
not
really.
particularly the toughest. It's not tight.
It's,
It's
it's,
not
it's
tight.
not no it's not necessarily the fastest, and especially dealing with 1v1 action. So it's very tough there. But you know what? But I feel it's gonna be a brilliant game, as you said. So I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to that
absolutely. It's
game.
going to be a brilliant game. So moving from one side of the Spanish capital to another integral part of Spanish football in Barcelona. What do you think about Barcelona's performance against Sevilla in La
You
Liga
know, no, 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 no,
or
no,
game
no,
week
no,
10?
no, 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 no. No, no, you're not gonna get me to speak on Barcelona. That's what you to do. So, uh, moving on to Barcelona. What do you think about Barcelona's performance against Sevilla on the weekend?
Okay, so that game is one that is going to stay in history and for a couple
Oh,
of things. For a couple of things, not because of the scoreline, not because of the scoreline, not because of Sevilla as a team, no disrespect to Sevilla, but because of a lot of historic moments that we had in that game. Gavi came
okay.
back on the pitch after being out for nearly a
Yeah,
year. That
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 that's
that
that was a good
is
moment when him and Pedri they exchanged
the exchange. It just gave me that chills that I felt from Xavi going out and handing the handbag to
exactly
Iniesta.
it's
It just gave that there's that
heri-
connection,
heritage
the
heritage.
heritage. It just
Not
feels like, oh, you know what, football was in the good hands for a long time, and it's
yeah.
transitioned to arguably, good hands as well. And there
Well,
were moments of Jesus Navas being appreciated by the Barcelona fans, even though he didn't have a lot of minutes or whatever the case might be. But it just has that little bit of football romance, if you ask me. And then also Barcelona went in there and did what you would anticipate for every championship looking team. And what do I mean? They go in first half, got the job done literally at first half, had the luxury to bring in players, get some of the core players to get early rest in games like that, knowing very well what their future would look like in the next couple of game weeks. And it was very, very delightful to see from Barcelona point of view. I mean, Lewandowski is in the form of his, I don't want to say form of his career because that might be a stretch,
yeah,
but definitely
he's
in
the
the
top
form
he's the top goal
in the
scorer
form
in
of
La
his,
Liga.
yeah, is
Ten
of course.
goals.
No,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. Don't undermine his goal contribution. It's 12 goals.
No, I'm talking about league football right now. So 10,
Yes,
10
12 in La Liga.
oh, 12,
You
12
want to
league goals. Okay, okay, okay,
please
okay,
fact check. Please fact check. I
okay,
might be
okay,
wrong. I'll like you to check and let me know. I think it's 12 in La
okay.
Liga and 14 all competition. Um, and that is 12 goals in 10 games. I think he scored two penalties, missed one, had 10 goals from open
I'll
plays
go
in
with
La Liga.
your yeah, 12. It's 12 goals.
Yeah, so I think
Okay.
this is form of his La Liga career so far. Um, and he doesn't. It's not just about the goals. By the way, I still think he's missing a lot of chances. He could have easily walked away with a hat trick.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
He could have walked away with a hat trick, a first half hat trick actually
Yeah,
yesterday, but
easily.
but he's still like very involved. Personally, I think for once, I know it's very uncategorical. It's not something that we've had to say, but I think the first half penalty for Rafael was really soft, like very soft. It,
Oh,
yeah, I think it was soft.
oh, really? You
Yeah,
don't
I think
say.
so. No,
You
no,
don't
I
say.
think so. It was soft,
Okay,
but yeah, I mean, who says we can't have a slice of luck after? If it takes
okay,
us 10 weeks
okay,
to have a slice of luck, we'll take it. Probably maybe the next one will come in game week 20. We'll have just three of those moments in the whole league. I don't know, but
okay,
for sure,
okay.
there are other clubs, be it the color of white or any other shades, orange or whatever it is that they choose to wear on the day, they are accustomed to this kind of luck. So we'll take what we have. So but it was overall convincing from Barcelona. Paulo Torre has three La Liga goals, has an assist. I think those numbers are greater than Jude, greater than a couple of Real Madrid players. Um, going by the numbers, just going by the numbers, Gavi was back. Barcelona had the luxury to have Frankie de Jong rested all through the game. Um, well, they said there was some discomfort in the
Any,
midfield.
any standout performances we should be aware of, or any, like you said, Pablo Torre probably he came off the bench, got a couple goals. One of them was a free kick, right?
Yeah, it was a free kick.
Yeah. So and then, like this whole like so on Twitter the whole or X the jokes
Mhm.
Pablo Torre scored a free kick goal before you know who at Real Madrid. So
Before I
all
know
that
who was that?
before you know who. So
I
it's
don't know
also
who.
it's all
Tell me
this,
who's that? Who's
but
who?
it's always banter. But I feel like like I know when I was watching the game, I texted on our group chat whoever that Sevilla goalkeeper is,
No,
that's a
no,
terrible.
Milan was not bad. No, no,
No,
I will correct you on the
he
spot.
was
No,
shocked.
he
He
wasn't
was
bad.
shocking.
You should watch that game. You should watch
Okay,
that game. And those goals,
Pedri's goal.
maybe the only one that he could have done something about was Pedri's goal. But
Okay,
also,
and
but also the speed at which the goal came about. And
yeah,
then don't forget that it was off the dummy of Kunde, who you would think naturally would have some interaction with that ball and just let it go away. And before
I
the
know.
keeper could get in shape, it was a brilliant goal from Pedri. Maybe another level of goalkeeper, Courtois,
Yeah,
Alisson, or
yeah,
those kind of keepers may have pulled
exactly,
up a
exactly.
save, but it wasn't because of bad goalkeeping that Sevilla had five, and it could have been more than five. It
Yeah,
could have been more than five. And something I need to call out here is that Rafinha and Yamal's chemistry is growing.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
you you remember the Trivera pass that Yamal did to Rafinha? I think it was against the Valladolid game.
yeah,
Literally, there was a repeat of that. You can
yeah.
watch it. There
It's
was a repeat of that, but it was just offside a little bit. Like
but
Rafinha was
but
offside, so
it's
it didn't count. But
but I feel like with like I think two things that stood out for me was you can or three probably is like with the best teams or teams that are going to achieve good success, be it domestic or Europe. The chemistry between that front line, it's always amazing. You see it with when Lewandowski was at Bayern Munich with the wingers there and Thomas
mhm,
Muller. Even when Barca with MSN, Messi, and all other players that played in that whole era. But I feel with this new crop where Lewandowski, Rafinha, and Yamal and Pedri, and even Dan Olmo before he got recently injured,
mhm,
they are all on the same wavelength. They all know where the next pass should go and where the cross or where the pass will come next. Then it's very not like there's no they're all quite selfless. They're all singing on the same sheet where no one player is trying to make the game about him or taking too many touches. It's very fluid, very creative, and for Hansi Flick to go to Barca in a short amount of time, settle all the things down with a lot of injuries as well, players and contractual situation, players leaving, players not being registered, but is able to get down on the training ground with a busy fixture list as well find a way to get these players fit but also how they combine the combination play between them is sometimes it's just you sit and you're just like, wow, this is Barcelona, this is breathtaking. And another thing was also the two centre backs, or I'll probably say the three centre backs. I'll put Kunde as one of the centre backs as well because he's a centre back and right back. I felt this is probably was for like in little spells here and there we got the sense of how Barcelona could approach the next couple of games. Be it how because we all know Barcelona play with that high line, so they need to be able to defend in transition. And I felt Inigo Martinez was fantastic at sweeping, making last minute blocks, clearing the lines, matching runs. Because let's not forget, Sevilla they have quite a
Yes.
pacey
Pacey
and
game,
quite
Egypt is very pacey, and
Ejuke, Luka Bacchio, they're all quite electric on the counter attack. So Barcelona
yeah,
manage those transitions well, and it's with what's coming this week, it's good to see. But I just feel the only bad mark on or bad spot of or only bad point of the game is just I'll from a defensive point of view, I'll be disappointed if they didn't get that clean sheet. And
yeah, yeah,
I know like because there's a lot of substitutions, the game changes, the game set is quite different. I just feel with what's to come, that is not really a confident. I don't really get confidence from the goalkeeping situation currently with Barcelona.
yeah.
So
I find that very controversial that Hansi Flick still decided to keep Chelsea
yeah,
out of
because
the game.
yeah,
Because you
we
and I
talked
had that
about it. Yeah, we
conversation
had that
exactly, and
conversation,
I was like, yeah, no,
and
he's gonna play and all of that. And then literally a few hours after that conversation, Hansi Flick was like,
exactly
yep,
he confirmed
I'm.
it. Ikapena is my guy. So yeah,
Yeah,
so it's
and
always
it's disturbing to also hear him say he's gonna be his guy for the Bayern Munich game. I mean,
especially going up against the guy
Harry
in
Kane,
Bavaria, Harry
Harry,
Kane, who scored
Harry Kane,
who scored a
Musiala is back. Second
second
hat trick in a few days.
half hat
Musiala is
trick. So
back.
it's
I,
always
I
say
really
so
don't think I
you're
really
going up
don't think Barcelona should be doing that. I really don't think we should be
you're
having
going up.
we should be having in like
I know,
Kane
but
and goal.
but
But it is what
I
it
know,
is.
it's a tough one though. It's a tough one because it's not. In a way, it's not just because we're not quite sure what level Roger Chesney is at, and you don't want to damage Peña's confidence level this early in the season, especially with your goalkeeper situation being what it is until January at least. So I don't because it's just simply he has to be better. He has to come prepared for these games. And it's like, cause like I always say in football, most players just pray for an opportunity, can I get to the team? And when you get that opportunity, it's then on you to then perform because you always have to perform. And this has been given an opportunity to Barcelona to be Barcelona's number one choice, Barcelona's first choice goalkeeper now. Chesney is in the wings waiting for his opportunity. And ultimately, if he doesn't perform, that's probably his Barcelona career done.
Yeah, because he had the same opportunity last season. Let's not forget.
Exactly. So
And,
it's
and and I think he was doing really well last season until
until
second game, and
Villarreal Villarreal
yeah, I think it was
five
five
defeat.
something like that. But
I remember.
yeah, and then it was just boom.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
just it was just confidence crash, and everything just had to go downhill
Okay.
from there. But
So
even looking at the goal that Barcelona conceded is the point that I want to make. Right, this is the same team that's been paraded as the team that has the most consistency in terms of keeping oppositions offside and whatnot. But the
in
substitute
Europe,
from
in Europe,
in
they
Europe, in Europe, yeah.
Europe,
So
and
so
by big margin as well.
yes, by a very big margin. But if you see the goal that they conceded, this was a clever wing play from Sevilla. The winger intentionally didn't get past the line because if that guy crossed the line, he's gonna be offside.
Zumbo,
Zumbo, yeah, he
Zum,
didn't cross the line. He waited.
Muzumba.
It was very reminiscent of the play between Chelsea and Barcelona when Torres had to round Victor Valdes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it was just like Kubasi was already in the opposition's half. That's to tell you, and I mean, I'm up for high line and all of that, but high line half field with a pacey, very
But
very pacey winger is
but
gonna
that's
be
what you get.
disturbing.
But and also it'll be important. It'll be interesting to see how Flick negotiates the next couple of games because
Exactly, because your
because
boy is
because
really
you,
heavy and
you're
smart.
because you're going up, and I feel like they'll say like styles make fights, or you see, or you try to
Hmm.
get up, you try and balance it out on paper. You see the strengths of Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, what they have, and what these two teams have. They have pace, and I thought, well, not necessarily Harry Kane, but on the wings,
They have lots of
Olise,
players. Olise,
Olise,
Gnabry, whoever it is they want
Ganabi,
to put it.
Coleman, those kind of players.
Samuel, Coleman, those guys are explosive.
It's starting against they are electric, and they also have good shooters, like good players who drill the ball very hard. So it's going to be interesting to see how that happens. But moving on to Barcelona's big game in the Champions League against where Barcelona welcome
Yeah,
Bayern Munich,
welcome Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich coming off a loss in on match day two away at Aston Villa. Mm, I don't know if it's a surprising defeat against Aston Villa where they played well, but they didn't have enough to get the goal and get 3 points, even get a draw. On the day, even though Martinez was fantastic and Bayern got caught out with the high line, a through ball, the goalkeeper is off his line, he gets chipped, and those kind of situations. So, what is your overall sense of this tie? What do you feel? What do you expect? And what players are you looking for to perform for Barcelona? What players are you worried about on the opposition team, Bayern Munich?
Okay, so I think for sure it's going to be an exciting game, maybe more exciting than the Madrid Dortmund game. But I feel like we're going to see attacking masterclass, and maybe
From both sides of Barcelona,
from
or
both sides, we're going to see attacking
okay,
masterclass from both sides, and maybe some defensive disaster,
yeah.
depending on how they set up. And for sure, I, I, I if I expect one team to win, um, and this is going to be by a long mile Barcelona's biggest test in Hansi Flick's career with Barcelona so far. Um, and then also, I feel like one thing Hansi Flick has had for most part of this season, he has had very linear decision making. And what do I mean in terms of players availability? Like literally, he hasn't had a big issue. He hasn't
It's quite straightforward.
straightforward. It's just you just shuffle a few players here and there. But two of the not so confident players for Barcelona have already made the decisions easy for Hansi Flick, if you ask me. Ferran Torres shouldn't be expected to play that game. I think a lot of Barcelona fans will be happy to hear that. Not happy for the injury, but just happy that he would not be available for that game. And Eric Garcia seemed to pull something right before the Sevilla game because he was he was
So,
he was
so, so,
poised
so,
to play that game.
so just a quick one. So, how do you expect Barcelona? Because I expect the backline should be as we expect. Kubasi, Inigo Martinez, Kunde, and Alejandro
Balde.
Balde and Capena. What's the dynamic in midfield and in attacking positions?
So
Who comes in?
for the
Who come?
dynamics in midfield, for the love of Christ and for everything football, please Hansi Flick, if you can hear me, don't move a muscle with Casado. Don't rest him. Don't bench him. Don't do any of those trying to be intelligent. Let that guy play. Casado is transformational. Is beyond instrumental to what Hansi Flick is doing. He's not a big
Yeah.
household name just yet, but people who have an eye for a central defensive midfielder would appreciate his talent, and I think you need that for a game like Bayern Munich. If Gavi was fit and up and running, I would say Gavi Casado pairing would have been ideal for Bayern Munich, but I don't see Gavi starting that game. He barely had
No,
20
no,
something minutes to play. It
it's
will be too soon,
too
way
soon.
too soon for him. So in that regard, I expect to see Casado and Pedri um running teams in the central central defensive slash central midfield. Up top, I expect Daniel to be fully back for that game. As a matter of fact, I think that was why he didn't have any minutes against Sevilla. Um,
Okay.
then I
So
see Rafinha.
you suspect Omo comes in for a start.
It's coming in, it's a straight start. I don't even
Mm.
see like
Okay.
I don't see a possibility of him not starting. I can't imagine anything else. I think Omo has good records against Bayern Munich. He's the of the players who right now play for Barcelona besides Lewandowski is the one that has the best understanding of German football. Um
But also,
I
but just a quick. Don't you feel like it's because I know it's a big game, and this is where sometimes where some managers get caught up in when they try to overthink certain things because, like you said, you go with what has worked. The Pedri, Casado, midfield pivots that's worked so far for Barca this season. But is there a situation where you bring in an extra man or where you move Rafinha to the wing for a more flexible approach that you can target Barcelona, where my Bayern's
yeah, I
issues on the counter attack. Then you put Pedri in the central attacking midfield and a player like Femi Lopez behind him alongside Caicedo, or a combination of those three, either flipped
so
or
what I think would happen for sure is Rafinha moves to the
Torres
wing.
of Ferran Torres.
Torres is injured. Is not going to be in contest for this game.
Is
Thank you,
injured.
Frank. Yes, he's injured. Painfully injured.
Oh,
I feel for him
unlucky,
as a human
unlucky.
being,
That's a big miss.
yeah, very very big. But Rafinha is going to be taking the left wing position. If you ask me, Daniel Mo should be in central attacking midfield. And Yamin Amal is undisputed number one for right wing. And the striker position picks itself Lewandowski. And for the pivot or the center midfield pairing in this case, I expect to see Marc Casado and Pedri starting the game. And then maybe as the game progresses, right, given that Daniel is just coming back, we can be taken off at some point. Pedri can move back to central attacking midfield, and then you bring in other players. But the truth is that Barcelona is still not stacked up with central defensive midfield options right now
No,
because
no,
Gavi
it's
is still coming to speed. I
um,
don't know if what Hans Flick had mentioned with Frankie is the reality that he still feels a little bit of discomfort with his ankle. Then
yeah,
he probably
there
didn't
were
start that
reports.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, but if not, I
but
expect him to come in as a substitute. Um, and have a couple of minutes there.
okay,
And
okay,
Ansu Fati should also be in contention to come in as a substitute for the left wing, depending on if the game is wrapped up early enough. Um, then those kind of things. But my starting 11, just to be very firm, for Barcelona side will be unfortunately Pena and goal. Maybe something happens, maybe he sprains something or whatever, and Shazi can
yeah.
come in. And then the back line is going to be the same with Tunde, Kubasi, which I think a lot of people are starting to overlook.
No, Kubas,
His
no, 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 no,
capability,
no,
his
no, Kubas is top. Is top, top, top. Like
top
he's
top central back. His distribution
it's
will be really, really
the
important for a game like that.
this is overall reading of the game situation because it's again like this is what I feel and this is what I know Xavi has a lot of detractors in Barcelona, but I feel the trust he gave all certain players in this Barcelona team was for me was amazing. Where you're playing away at Napoli against Victor Osimhen, or sorry, you're playing at home against Victor Osimhen, Cravadonna, but you're starting a 17. Was it 16 at the time or 17 at the time?
Was 16, was 16.
You're starting a 16-year-old centre back against two of the best attacking players in European football. You go away at did it start at
PSG, he
PSG
played,
away?
played both games.
Exactly. So you see, and that's that kind of maturity. And to be fair to Kubasi, he's taking this opportunity and he's striving with it. He's looking like the real deal, and he's looking. If all things go his way, he could be the leader or the main guy for on the Spanish national team going forward as their new central defensive central defender. Well, speaking of central defenders, I feel on Bayern's team, Barcelona can get a lot of joy on against Bayern's central defenders. Upamecano, who's notoriously quite hit or miss on European on big nights in Europe and such. He always gives an attacker something to hang on. It gives you a sniff, a chance, a little. physically he's not the strongest. He always has that defensive lack. Well,
Just keep
defensive
waiting to happen.
exactly defensive off switch. He just goes off in his head that just does random stuff. Kim isn't the fastest either, so on that right hand channel against Yamal and Alfonso Davies, always looking to go infield, that could be exploited. But I feel a big miss for Bayern would be their young central midfielder Pavlovic, who got
Mm,
injured, on the weekend. That's
that's a big one.
speaking of another young player coming into his own element in this Bayern team. But it will be, I feel it's going to be an interesting battle. I I feel Barcelona will edge this tie. It's gonna be it's gonna be an exciting game to watch. Very tactical. Vincent Kompany is doing a lot of interesting stuff tactically at Bayern Munich. Flick has shown his tactical pedigree, so I feel these two are going to put on a good show for us on
Cool.
Wednesday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's correct on Wednesday.
yeah.
I'm quite
Okay.
interested. I'm quite interested. Quite interesting to see what that matchup between Olise and Balde would look like, because I feel like those are two players that are having very important season. For for respective reasons. I think um for
Both
anybody not to
ways,
underestimate. Yes, both ways.
both
Yeah,
ways, because Bade is quite happy to always take take the attack or take the
yeah, so
initiative
he has
to
one
attack.
of the best ball carries from defense to attack.
Exactly.
It's quite pacey. I mean, Olise is very technical with the ball on his feet. Bade has some question marks as to can he do more with his delivery when he has like it's one thing to progress with the ball into attacking areas. It's one thing to be able to deliver the right cross, the right pass, which I
Um,
think for
Jordi
wing back.
Alba, Jordi Alba type where he
Exactly,
was
exactly.
for years. He always had
That final
that
pass is
that
you knew
final.
what to do.
No, but even he had that pass. He always found Messi on just on the edge of the box where he
Box,
always found
exactly,
always the cutback was
exactly,
always spot on. Yeah, but I feel like
exactly.
Bal is a player I like. I think he's still growing into his own, especially with his
Yes,
injury
exactly.
issues. He has a lot of attacking qualities, and he's
Still
still
solid defensively, so yeah,
he's
it's
still
more
exactly.
walkover
So
defensively. It's solid.
he's still finding his way. But I think Barca should be happy with his output so far.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And then on the
what's
other side,
any
I'd like to see what Osimhen does as well. With not sorry, not Osimhen. I apologize. I'm still curious to see what Jamal does with
Alfonso
with
Davies?
Alfonso Davies, because
Yeah,
it's one thing like because the thing is Yamal's game is not entirely based on speed, even though it's not the slowest, it's neither the fastest in terms of wing players, right? But it's just the ability to stop, start, change
the
transition.
the
It's the
unpredictability of his
unpredictability. He can go in
movements.
and
Yeah,
out. He can
yeah.
swing the ball behind. He can put a pass through diagonally and whatever. So we'll see. But my prediction would be a 4-2 victory in favor of Barcelona. Mm.
You know what? I had the exact same scoreline in my head
Oh wow.
because I feel this is a game where Barca will come out flying the first half. Get a couple goals, even more. But as the game goes on, Bayern will find a way to get, with the attacking talent they have, get a couple of goals back. So I think 4-2 sounds like or feels like a good scoreline. But again, as you know, I'm notorious for getting my score lines.
And I know you will gladly wish to get this one right so that we can have the right next session.
Mind games, mind games.
But the thing is this, right?
So
Interesting thing, fun fact about Hansi Flick this season for Barcelona is that the games he had lost, right, are games where you can see the reasons why he loses them. And what I'm saying is this: um, be you a supporter of Barcelona or not, once the lineup is out on Wednesday, you have a sensation as to, you have a feel as to where that game would go. You'll be able to, get a better understanding. So it all really depends on who he decides to call up. And then we'll see what Vincent Company does. I think Vincent Company has a lot of question marks around his coach's
yeah,
credibility.
he
These are
needs
one of the games where,
He needs a performance to show his level. But as always, it's going to be an interesting battle. So, any more any more
Champions League games to cover.
yeah, any more
Um,
Champions League or any more interesting interesting tidbits from Spain this past
uh,
weekend.
well, I think we covered most of the interesting conversations. Atletico Bilbao had an amazing game. Inaki
Oh yeah,
scored. They they went
I
4-1.
was I saw a lot of because being Nigerian we have a few Ghanaian friends.
Mm-hmm,
I saw a
mm-hmm.
lot of Ghanaian friends really upset with Inaki Williams doing so well for Bilbao. He always performs for Bilbao, plays for Black Stars of Ghana, and he just can't. He looks. It's like he sends his look-alike to play for Ghana while he stays back in Bilbao and rests through international breaks. It just because I feel Ghana had bad results in Nations Cup, African Nations
Qualified.
Cup qualifying, so they were not pleased to see him
Yeah,
looking clinical, looking like
yeah,
his
looking
normal
like the real
self.
deal. But the reality is this, right? Even in the Ghana's Black Stars national team, um, his teammates are letting him down. Like you see, if you watch any of those games, you see Inaki making the right run at the right time, and then there was a Ghana
Yeah.
guy who's willing to dance a zonto, and before you know, the opportunity is gone.
Okay. Uh, okay. Let's wrap it up. Thank you. Thank you, Kingsley, for joining me on this Spanish football roundup and Champions League preview. It's been a
Yep,
blast. Good luck to Barcelona and other Spanish clubs playing in Europe this week.
yep.
So,
And
any word for our listeners and followers?
yeah, don't forget to smash the like button if you haven't done that already. If you're not subscribed to Football Exponential, this is the moment for you to do that. Go hit the bell so that you can know whenever we have our uploads up there. And we are curious to know what you think about the mouth-watering Champions League clashes between the Bundesliga giants and the Spanish football La Liga giants. And of course, it's another moment to see if indeed Real Madrid are on track to retain their title. But until next time. Thanks again
Okay.
and do enjoy yourself. You have
Okay.
yourself a great rest of the day. Take care, guys.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.